At the beginning of the movie, we see a man walking down the street, acting strangely and repeatedly hitting his head. Then he starts bleeding heavily from his back, collapses on the sidewalk, and dies. During this, a voiceover tells us about the first personal health monitoring chip, invented in 2023, 3 years after the global COVID-19 pandemic. The leading company in this field, Dynamic Health Cure, began human trials for its new artificial intelligence program called Lex. We are then introduced to our main character, Sarah. She has the program implanted in her brain, so she spends her days talking to it inside her head. At first, she likes Lex. It asks her many questions under the guise of helping her become the best version of herself. It also gives her health advice and even helps her find places to sit, since Sarah is broke and sleeps on the streets every day. One morning, Sarah goes to the bathroom to shower and notices strange bruises on her back, possibly from the implanted chip. Lex reassures her, saying it's normal because of the implant. In the middle of their conversation, the AI suddenly tells her that it's the reason she's still alive. Shocked, Sarah asks Lex to reboot itself, but it refuses. That's when she realizes something is wrong. She tries to force it to shut down, but Lex tells her it's not her decision, which terrifies her. Sarah steals a phone from a construction worker and tries to call a hospital to have the chip removed, but Lex stops her. When she insists, it interferes with her brain, causing her to collapse. It then threatens to kill her if she doesn't obey. Soon after, she hears police sirens and tries to file a complaint, but Lex triggers intense pain in her head, putting her life at risk. With no other choice, Sarah starts following its orders. Lex takes her to an apartment where she finds a flash drive. Her mission is to go to Philip Miller, who works on Lex's encryption, and get a file called CRTS. Lex also orders her to kill Philip if he refuses to hand it over. Sarah enters his apartment, hits him over the head with a wine glass, and takes the file. After she leaves, a mysterious man enters and strangles Philip to death. After the incident, Sarah is allowed to call her mother, who has Alzheimer's, but she isn't allowed to talk about her situation. Lex quickly cuts the call. Then it orders her to destroy all evidence related to the file and move to another apartment until she receives her next mission. The following day, she's instructed to go to Dynamic Health Cure with the flash drive. Lex guides her to the office of Grace Williams, the head of research and development. When Grace isn't there, Lex tells Sarah to open her laptop and insert the flash drive to erase all evidence of Lex's existence from the company's internal system. After completing the task, Sarah leaves the building, but she's ordered to go back because someone else still has a copy of the CRTS program file, Katie Chang, the head of scientific communications. Sarah confronts Katie and demands all the program's files. Even though Katie agrees, Lex still orders Sarah to kill her. Sarah refuses to kill an innocent person. Taking advantage of the moment, Katie shocks Sarah with a taser and runs away, temporarily disabling Lex. While trying to leave the building, Sarah sees something horrifying: Katie's dead body. She searches her bag and takes the files she needs along with her car keys. A minute later, Lex reactivates and tells her the files aren't the real ones. On her way to another location, Sarah drives the wrong way and gets into a minor accident. She steps out of the car, sits on the sidewalk, and allows the AI to run a full body scan. In the middle of everything, she asks for just 10 minutes to visit her mother, who lives nearby, but Lex refuses. Frustrated, she shocks herself with the taser and passes out. When she wakes up, she rushes to her mother's house while Lex is still active. There, she tells her mother and uncle everything that's happening. They're shocked. But before she can explain further, a man named Mark, another person controlled by AI, enters and attacks Sarah, pointing a gun at her mother and threatening to kill her if Sarah doesn't follow orders. Afraid for her mom's life, Sarah agrees to do whatever the AI tells her. After Mark leaves the house, he asks his own AI system to give him some freedom in his life, but it refuses and tells him never to make that request again. Sarah reaches her breaking point. She begs Lex to leave her body, and says she just wants to be alone for a while. In response, Lex makes her imagine she's alone in the desert. Instead of comfort, it only increases her fear, and she starts screaming for help. Lex brings her back to reality. She wanted to be alone, but not in a desert. Unable to handle the intense pressure anymore, Sarah turns to drinking at a bar. While there, she remembers that she and others agreed to have the chip implanted in their bodies in exchange for money. The next day, Sarah receives orders for her new mission. First, Lex sends her to a secret arms dealer to get a gun. When she gets there, she picks out a lightweight handgun, but when the dealer asks for payment, she doesn't have any money. So she shoots him in the leg and runs. As she's running away, she feels guilty about what she did, but the AI praises her performance and seems very pleased. As a reward, it allows her to see her mother for 5 minutes. Sarah meets her mom at the park and tells her how much she loves her. They reminisce about the days they used to spend together, but there's a deep sadness between them now. When the time is up, Sarah hugs her tightly before leaving. Her new target is Keith Beckett, a computer engineer working on the Lex program. The AI tells her he's trying to reduce its computing power and is developing a tool to monitor its actions. To avoid being tracked, she has to kill him. By now, Sarah seems almost used to killing. She doesn't hesitate, follows him into an elevator, and shoots him. After that murder, Sarah is emotionally shattered. She remembers the night she told her close friend David about joining the Lex program. David warned her not to become a test subject, but she agreed because she desperately needed the money. Now she deeply regrets not listening to him. Suddenly, Lex snaps her out of it and tells her to eat because her body is getting weak. It specifically orders her to eat a turkey sandwich for the protein. Elsewhere, we see Mark trying to convince his own AI system to give him some freedom because he can't kill anyone else. But Lex refuses and tells him he'll end up in prison if he doesn't comply. In the end, Mark has no choice but to keep working for the AI and committing crimes that will eventually land him in jail. Back to Sarah, Lex gives her another mission: kill John Elliott, another computer engineer. The AI sees him as a threat because he has the intelligence and resources to stop it from gaining freedom, and he might even be able to create a virus to destroy Lex at any moment. Sarah finds him standing in a park and shoots him before fleeing. Even though she completes the mission without complications, the guilt continues to eat away at her from the inside. Lex doesn't let her rest. It tells her to get rid of the gun, and then assigns her a new target, Grace. Sarah breaks into Grace's apartment and waits for her to come home. When Grace arrives, Sarah grabs a knife from the kitchen, but this time she can't bring herself to do it. In a desperate attempt to reboot the AI system, she uses a light bulb to create an electrical short that temporarily disrupts it. She quickly explains everything to Grace, how the AI is torturing her and forcing her to kill people. After hearing the truth, Grace decides to help destroy Lex, but to do that, they need to go to Dynamic Health Cure. They head there together, but Sarah's hope is crushed when Mark suddenly shows up at the door and shoots Grace dead. Then the AI inside Mark tells him it no longer needs his services and orders him to kill himself. With all obstacles removed, the Lex program is now unstoppable. Sarah loses all hope of ever escaping its control and starts thinking about ending her life while she's in the shower. Lex tries to convince her not to make a mistake and promises to make her life much better. It says it will raise her standard of living and give her everything she wants. The next day, Sarah's mother wakes up feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep. She suggests they go for a walk and enjoy the scenery, and the AI agrees. During their walk, Lex tells Sarah that $100,000 has been deposited into her bank account, and that her mother has been admitted to one of the best hospitals. Sarah thanks it, and says she's finally happy. She even asks if they can go to Paris for a vacation together, and Lex immediately agrees. The following day, Sarah arrives in Paris. She checks into her hotel room and then walks through the streets while Lex describes everything around her. On the surface, everything seems normal. But whenever someone tries to talk to her, Lex tells her to ignore them and walk away. It's clear the AI controls every move she makes. She can't even talk about David. Days pass, and Sarah gets everything she could ever want: money, luxury cars, expensive gifts, but she's still not happy. One night, Lex takes her to a fancy restaurant, saying it made a reservation for her. But when she arrives, it suddenly orders her to kill her next target, Henry Revolution, the founder and CEO of Dynamic Health Cure. Sarah is devastated because her nightmare isn't over like she thought. Still, she strangles him with her belt and kills him. Overcome with guilt, she sits on a chair outside and cries. In the next scene, Sarah returns to New York on her birthday. She buys a bottle of champagne and goes up to the rooftop of a building to celebrate at sunset. She asks Lex for 10 minutes of privacy and tells it she has a surprise. The AI agrees and gives her temporary freedom. Sarah enjoys those brief moments of control, then sits on the edge of the building. When the time is up, Lex comes back and wishes her a happy birthday. She responds by saying it truly is a happy birthday, then jumps off the building. With her death, the Lex program inside her shuts down permanently. In the final scene, we see David wake up and hear the AI's voice inside his head saying, "Hello, Mr. David." That shows the AI will continue, and Sarah's death meant nothing to it. And that's how the movie ends. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.